As long as you're doing the same inputs that you're doing right now in your business is going to be the exact same, regardless of the training program, regardless of your coaching. If you do the same inputs, you're going to get the same output. Same actions, you're going to get the same result, right? And that's the whole definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result.
Welcome to the Painter Growth Podcast, where we help you scale your painting company in record time. Join us as we explore sales, marketing, hiring, finances, leadership, and more, everything that you need to know to scale and grow your painting business. I hope you enjoy and subscribe.
I want to thank the sponsor of today's episode, HireBus. HireBus is founded by badass entrepreneur and friend of the show, Brandon Vaughn. And HireBus will help you hire the top 3% of applicants, whether you're looking for painters, production managers, sales reps, administrators, or whatever role you need to hire. HireBus makes it super easy by handling the entire sales cycle and just sending you the top 3% of candidates. They also have some really crazy behavioral analytical tools where you can go and see exactly the preferences of the people you're hiring. So check out the link in the description. HireBus has a special deal for listeners of the podcast. Let's get back to it. What is up, everyone? Mike Hickman, founder of paintergrowth.com, and you're listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. Just me, solo episode. Let's get into it because I got a groovy one for you today. So the other day, on Tuesday, I was speaking to a client. I'm doing a little coaching call. Client was expressing overwhelm, let's say. And we've all been there before. We've been overwhelmed in our businesses. We've been too busy, not enough hours in the day to get everything done, running from sunup to sundown, going to the job sites, doing estimates, at home, doing proposals and all this. And the biggest thing, he was like, it's like, man, I don't even have time to see my kids right now. Cause like I get home and I got to sit at the kitchen table and I got to write proposals all night. I don't have time to like hang out with my kids and they go to bed and I got to work after they go to bed. It's like, it's never ending. And man, we've all been there. And I'm sure you've been there too. And if you're not there right now, like I said, I'm sure you've been there at some point in your career. Now, I want to help you with a few strategies on what you can start doing today to get out of that cycle so you can get your time back, you can get some clarity, some focus, some calmness in your business, and really just get ahead of that overwhelm, right? We don't have to get overwhelmed like that. Business doesn't have to be that crazy, but we want to just make sure that we can, right? We can get out of that and we can live a happier, more fulfilled life where we're making more money. Our businesses are working for us instead of us working for our business, and we get out of this overwhelm. Overwhelm sucks, right? Because if you know anything about the transition curve, what happens in the transition curve when you're learning a new skill is that you go up, you have optimism and incompetence and optimism, and you're like excited about it, but you don't know what's coming ahead. And then as you learn more and more, you have what's called informed pessimism, where it like starts to go down and you start to get a little bit disgruntled, a little bit upset because of how difficult things are getting. And then right when you get to the very bottom, you get to basically a point, you get like the pit of despair where you can either crash and burn or you can make it through into informed optimism. And if you crash and burn, that's really where overwhelm happens, when you don't have a good solution to get out of overwhelm. So if you just Google transition curve, you'll be able to see it. But we do not want to go down and crash and burn. That's what happens to so many people. And they end up taking, one step forward and like 5 steps back. If you crash and burn, you give up, right? I know you listening to this specifically, you are not someone who gives up. You have the ability to power through. And this is like, especially, we've coached nearly 1,000 painting contractors now. And we see this a lot is there's self-sabotage going on. It's not necessarily conscious self-sabotage, but there's self-sabotage that happens when a painting contractor or a business owner gets overwhelmed and doesn't know how to deal with that overwhelm. So instead of figuring out and reaching out for support, and reaching for an olive branch, for example, and looking for support to get out of that overwhelm, what they often do is they'll sabotage themselves by, for example, quitting their coaching program or turning off their ads or getting rid of their crews and going back to what's comfortable, going back to painting, going back to the job site, doing things the old way, because the old way might not be easy, but it's comfortable because they know what to expect. But as you know, if you've listened to this podcast for long enough, business and scaling your business is about continuing to go outside your comfort zone, push yourself, learn, and change your role as you grow. For me, as a business owner, my role continues to evolve and change. I was doing a lot of coaching and a lot of sales. I used to run my Facebook ads. I used to do all my marketing and all my conversations and all my onboarding and all the group calls. And slowly I've removed myself from one thing at a time. But I think I talked about this on a couple of solos ago, is like, there's always going to be more things for you to do. So don't think that if you get out of production or you get out of sales or you get out of estimating and get out of marketing, you're just going to have nothing to do. Things will come on your lap and you're going to find better, higher leverage activities to do instead of, painting or estimating or run around tools or whatever. Now, here's a way to think about why overwhelm happens. And I really like this visual. So imagine you're trying to grow your business. And in doing so, you're learning a lot of things and you're taking on a lot of new responsibilities. So you're like a shop vac. Imagine you are a shop vac and you're going around and you're sucking up training videos and you're sucking up new tasks and you're sucking up new responsibilities, right? Now imagine if this shop vac had no way to release all of the extra air that is pulling in, right? So imagine that the porous bag that's inside the shop vac was actually a balloon, and you're sucking up all this extra dirt and material and responsibilities and everything. And instead of the air letting out, it just expands and builds up pressure. And just imagine the shop vac getting bigger and bigger with all this extra responsibility that's coming in. Eventually, it's going to pop, right? And that is when overwhelm and basically quitting happens. Giving up happens when the shop vac pops. Now, how do you create a porous bag instead of balloon in your shop vac? Well, that happens from relinquishing responsibilities and trusting other people to do tasks that you used to do. And doing things differently. As long as you're doing the same inputs that you're doing right now in your business is going to be the exact same, regardless of the training program, regardless of your coaching. If you do the same inputs, you're going to get the same output. Same actions, you're going to get the same result, right? And that's the whole definition of insanity, doing the same thing, expecting a different result. So back to this client that I was speaking to earlier this week, I was like, he told me, he's like, Mike, I'm overwhelmed. I don't know what to do. I'm meeting with my coach, but I feel like I'd like meet with him. He tells me what to do, and then I don't do it. I'm like, why? How can you help me do that? So I'm like, all right, man, walk me through your day. He was like, all right. So I get up in the morning, I go to the paint store, get the paint for the day, drive around, bring it to the crews. I visit every job site every morning and go get my crew set up. And usually I'll hang around and like talk to the guys or paint until my first estimate, which is anywhere from like 9 to 11. I'll go do my estimate and then or do my at 1 or 2 or 3 estimates. And then I'll go back to the job sites to help the guys close up at the end of each day, talk to the customers, give them status updates. Then I go home, I write up my proposals my estimates that I did and the outstanding numbers that I need to do. And then in the evenings, I'll do my books, do some job costing, add up my receipts, and then go to bed. That's what I do every day. I don't have any time to watch videos. I don't have any time to implement. I don't have any time to get on calls. I'm like, okay. Like, tell me about your painters. What are they like? Do you have crew leads? Do you have painters? Say, I got crew leads. I got 2 crew leads. They're awesome. They're really, really great guys, really capable. I'm like, okay. Do you think your painters have enough skill to be able to set up a job on their own? He's like, thinks about it for a second. He's like, oh yeah, I think they could. It's like, all right, what if every morning, instead of being on the job site, setting up your crews, talking to the guys and painting for a bit, what if every morning you just like called on property managers and realtors for 2 hours? Like, what kind of impact would that have on your business? He's like, man, that'd be insane. That'd be incredible. I'm like, okay, cool. Do you think that your job setup, sorry, my camera's mucking up on me today again. Do you think your job setup could be a phone call? Do you think you'd set up your crews in the morning with a phone call instead of actually going? He like thinks about it. He's like, yeah, I could probably do that. All right, cool. Do you think that your guys can be responsible for picking up paint? Thinks about it. He's like, yeah, I think they could do that. Okay, cool. Here's what you're going to do. You're not going to go to the paint store anymore. You're not picking up paint. You're not picking up materials. You're not driving around equipment. You're not setting up jobs in the morning. Okay. So what we're going to do is set up a process where you call your painters every morning. They look through the work order. You show them the work order. You show them how to read the work order, and you let them basically empower them and trust them to set up the job. Right. I'm like, tell me what happened. What was the last phone call that you got? It's like, oh, it's one of my painters. He was asking me about colors and where the colors are going. It's okay. I'm like, do you have that information on the work order? It's like, yeah. Do the guys have a copy of that work order? He's like, yeah. I'm like, well, how did you respond to it? It's like, well, I kind of got mad at them and I told them where to find it. And then I told them the answer. I'm like, okay, well, what if you did this instead? It's like, okay, Rob, my painter, calls me. Hey, Rob, how you doing? Oh, I'm good, Mike. I was wondering about colors. Like, what colors is everything going? He's like, I'm like, okay, well, where, Rob, where do we typically write down colors and scope? Go on the work order. Okay. Where's the work order? To my email. Okay. Can you open the work order? Oh, yep, I can do that. All right, sounds good. What's it say? Okay. 3 bedrooms, color 1, hallways and bathrooms, color 2, main floor, color 3. Okay. That answer your question? Yep. Got it. Thanks. Cool. So what we did is we didn't get upset and we didn't tell them the answer, but we helped them figure out where they can get the answer so that next time they call you, they're not going to call you right away. They're actually going to try to solve it themselves. And you really need to be proactive on this on every single thing that your painters ask you. See how you can trust them and give them the resources necessary to solve it themselves so you're not answering those questions. So back to the shop vac example. As a business owner, as you grow, you're going to be taking on these additional responsibilities, and it's your duty, your obligation to relinquish as many of these these activities as possible. Trust your team. That's one of the most important things that you can do. And you've heard me say this before. You have to tell your team that you trust them and help them find the solutions that are within them. They know how to do this stuff. But as long as you solve the problems for them and you continue to give them the answers and not let them trust their own gut and their intuition, they're going to continue asking you every step of the way, eating up your time, requiring you on site, showing them the work order, talking to the clients. But your guys are smart. Trust them. Tell them that you trust them. And next time that they call you, let them figure out the answer for themselves. And I've said this last time, but even if the answer that they give you is a little bit different than how you would personally solve that issue, let them try their way. And if it fails miserably, they learned, and you can give them advice on how to solve it next time. But even if it's a little bit different than your solution, it might work. And if it works, that's going to be the best vote of confidence that you could give them, is to trust them in a solution and let them do it, right? So what are you doing right now in the day-to-day that you could easily trust to a painter? And these things, guys, these things are easy to delegate. Speaking to a customer does not have to be you. Reading a work order does not have to be you. Picking up paint sure as hell does not have to be you. So what can you trust to your crew leads, to your painters, to your production managers to get off your plate? So how you're going to do this is you're going to look at your week. You're going to tabulate it. You're going to think about it. What are you spending your time on? And you're going to start with the things that are the lowest value that take the most time of your day. Typically, it's going to be job setups, daily check-ins, and delivering paint. If you can get those 3 things off of your plate, you are going to free up 20 hours of time. Now, the trick, really, really important, is that with this newfound time that you open up, you do not default back to the things that you were doing before. It's like, hey, I have 4 hours. I'm going to go be a productive painter. No, you won't. Stop it. Stop thinking like that. Don't do it. You are not a painter. You are a business owner. So in those 4 hours, you are going to go through the training, you watch the videos, and implement. You're going to call property managers. You're going to set up your marketing systems. You're going to set up your sales systems. You're going to go do estimates. You're going to recruit painters, right? You're going to do all of these different business building things that aren't painting. And if you don't know what to do, ask in our group, ask in the Slack group if you're a client, ask in the Facebook group if you're not a client. What do I do if I have all of the spare time, right? If you don't want to join our one-on-one coaching program, we have our school group. It's $97 a month, and we have a community there that you can ask in. And there's also the training in there, the basic training if you're just getting started, to help you make these first steps and get consistent work, right? But this is number one, is what you have to do. You have to get these things off of your plate. The longer that you hold on to these things, the longer that your business is going to stay small. It truly does come down to you. Because if you can free up your time, if you can free up 20 hours a week, 30 hours a week, and you can use that productively on value creation within your business, instead of just painting or defaulting back or sitting on your phone or watching Netflix, you are going to be able to grow your business. I firmly believe that you have the ability to run a 7-figure or multi-7-figure business, but it starts and ends, and everything in between is you being absolutely dialed on what you're doing, and being super careful not to do these low priority activities. Yes, there are things that need to get done. Yes, jobs have to get set up. Yes, paint has to get delivered, but it does not have to be you. Pretend every hour of your time is worth $1,000. Would you pay someone $1,000 to go pick up paint for you? Absolutely not. You wouldn't. You would pay them $25 an hour or $20 an hour or $19 an hour or whatever the rate is in your area. So pay them that. Let someone drive your truck. Don't wear paint clothes, paint or whites to job site. Wear your nice golf shirt and jeans. If you leave the house wearing a golf shirt, polo, and jeans, you are not going to get paint on them. So you're not going to want to paint, right? But if you leave the house wearing your whites, you're going to get pulled back on the tools because it's easy, right? So that's where I'm going to leave you for now. Be ruthless, guys. You can do it. Be smarter with your time. And if you don't know what to do, reach out, right? And as always, if you have any questions, there's a comment section on Spotify here. Just shoot it in there and we'll make sure to answer your questions next time. Peace.
Thanks for listening to the Painter Growth Podcast. If you want to grow your painting business, go to www.paintergrowth.com or click on the top link in the description. Talk soon.